Good evening. Everybody wants to be an operator until it's time to do operator shit. I know you've heard that. You probably heard that plenty of times. Most people probably don't understand the weight of that statement, how true it actually is. Here's my thing. Here's my issue. There are a lot of individuals out there that got themselves built up into being some kind of a superhero. And there are people that count on them, that rely on them, that need them. But they've got their head filled with so much Hollywood bullshit that they're as useless as tits on a boar when it comes to their family. Why? Well, if you're not there, kind of hard for you to be a protector, a provider. What brings us on? And I made one of those stupid little short videos earlier, and it didn't get much views. I figured not many people. I know I don't watch very many shorts. It's a very rare occasion that I will watch a short video. It's got to be something I really want to see. Otherwise, I say no. You know, Nancy Reagan, just say no. Yeah. But anyway, I made a short, and I'll play it real quick. I'll play it here so everybody knows everybody's tracking on the same channel. Let me turn that audio up. And here you go. Good evening. I've got a bit of a challenge for you. It seems that there's a pretty big disconnect of reality and fantasy out there, and I just want to shake the tree a little bit and see what we come up with. So here's the challenge, right? There seems to be a lot of keyboard warriors out there, Billy Badasses, right? So here's the challenge. I want you to present to me one Billy Badass, okay? One Billy Badass, and it could be a YouTube creator or whatever, but a Billy Badass that actually has combat experience, okay, and that has actually been in the thick of it. You know what I mean? So that's the rules. They actually have to be in the thick of it, meaning they've got to have at least 1K under their belt. And I want to see one person that's been in a situation like that that goes around on social media acting like a badass. Good luck. That was a challenge that I put out because I think people would have a hell of a hard time finding one. Even one. Why did I put that challenge out there? Well, apparently I must have ruffled some feathers, and I don't know how the hell I did it. I really don't give a flying fuck. There is a reason that periodically I remind folks here that I'm here to do news. That is what the Father put me here to do. That is why I'm sitting here doing this. No other reason. I don't do it to make money. I don't do it to fame or whatever. I'm not that kind of guy. I am not the guy that wants to be in front of all of you. Never have been, never will be. Want to be that guy. I'm here because the Father told me to. That's it. And I've made the statement in even the recent past that one of the things I'm not here to do is make friends. The reason why I say that, and I don't mean that to sound like a jackass. I'm not saying that to be cold. I'm not saying that because I don't want to make friends. I'm saying that because there is a reality and a responsibility of doing this right here that a whole hell of a lot of people aren't up for the challenge of. It is what it is. That is why the Father put me here. I don't have to feel emotionally secure with something to accept it. I can accept things for what they are and deal with it from there. I don't have to put myself in any imaginary worlds, any fantasy lands, or anything like that. I can be me. I can look at the reality. And I can do whatever, at least I can do in my space to do the best with what I have. That's just the way life is. But apparently I must have said something that must have ruffled this person's feathers, because I commented on somebody's post on social media that somebody was trying to do the Billy Badass, look at me, look at what I got, look at what I'm doing kind of thing. And it does rub me the wrong way. If you're looking forward to this stuff, if you're looking forward to conflict, you've got a mental problem and you need to seek help. Plain and simple. I know there's a lot of Billy Badasses, keyboard warriors out there that just, most have not taken any lives outside of Call of Duty. The ones that have, which is the whole basis for that challenge video, aren't out there acting Billy Badass. They aren't out there looking forward to this. They dread the moment. I know, and I'm sure many other people know, I know individuals that have been in combat. I know individuals that do have kills under their belt. They do not want to go anywhere near talking about that. And it's understandable. It's absolutely understandable. That is a dark moment for them. So that's kind of a stark contrast to the keyboard warriors over here that are talking about what they're doing with their firearms because they're kind of blah, 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 blah. Kind of a stark difference. And the one thing that differs between the two people is one person's actually done it and the other one's just fucking watched it on a TV screen. So I'm sorry, Mr. Taylor, if I hurt your feelings or if I hurt maybe one of your buddies' feelings, but quite frankly, I don't give a fuck. We need to be out here not focusing on how to kill one another. We need to be out here focusing on how to help one another. How to be an asset. Why the fuck are any of us doing this? Why are we doing any preparedness if it's not to help keep things going? That's what I thought it's supposed to be about. Well, let me tell you what. If your mindset is, another fucking Hollywood wonder, if your mindset is that you and your little group of fucking people are gonna resurrect the fucking planet, you need to wake up. There's a whole hell of a lot of people out there talking about a whole hell of a lot of shit they don't know the first fucking thing about. And I will be the bad guy standing alone on the fucking hill if I have to, Mr. Taylor. My interest here is to do what the Father put me here to do. To tell the truth and to try to help people. He didn't put me here to tell people how to harm people. He put me here to tell people how to help people. So I'm sorry if your buddy's offended by the truth. Grow up. Jesus Christ. Pardon me, Father. We need to figure out ways to teach others en masse after, because see, here's the problem that we run into. Those that are actually here to help, let me tell you the problem that we run into. We've got kind of two. We've got these other folks that are Holly weirdo fanatics that want to, shoot their way through every problem. And we got the large majority of people that have no idea what's about to blindside them. And that's the reality of the situation. Well, what we need to focus on is what we can do after the fact, after the event, okay? Because you're not going to wake those people up no matter what. And at the same time, they're going to be in a bad way no matter what. So we can act like a bunch of scared rats hiding in our holes, hoarding our food, not trying to be of any value for anybody else. If that's what you want to celebrate doing, if that's what you feel so good about doing, you go right ahead. But I think many people, even yourselves, would be much better served to figure out ways that you can help those around you, to help build. How come we're not having those conversations? Because they're not as exciting? One of the first things, people that want to be leaders, people that want to act like a badass, be a leader. One of the first things that you can do to help people around you after a big event, teach them how to make a water filter out of stuff you can scavenge. Do you know how to do that? If you do, good. Good. That's your first lesson after the major event, whatever it may be, happens. Teach the people what they need to scavenge and how to put together their own water filter, because it's not bullets that kill the most people in war. It's disease that kill the most people in war. I'm sorry, they didn't teach you that in the movies and TV shows. I'm sorry, but they do teach it. And if you wanted to know the answer, it's out there. You just gotta kind of reach for it. So that water filter that you taught people en masse how to make from items that they could scavenge around the town, how many lives did you just save? How many people did you just help? Or the alternative, you can stay hidden down in your little hole hoarding your little bitty food, because that's how you're going to save the world. I think I'll choose my route. I'm sorry I'm so stupid, Darren. I'm sorry. My apologies. Maybe you should take the fucking floor of what we need to do. I'm trying to help people. As many fucking people as I can. And the only way that I can do that is to teach people how to help people. Because I'm one man. I'm one man. And after some big event would happen, I'm one man here. And that's it. And that really limits the reach of how many I can help. But if I can teach others how to do that, now we're talking. And if those people I teach others how to do that, now we're talking. But you know what? We haven't even been able to begin that conversation because we're too busy talking about fucking armor plates and our AR-15s. We can't get to that. And I'm the bad guy. I'm the piece of shit. I've been talking a lot lately about getting tired of getting the shit slapped out of me by that learning curve. This is another part of it. I want to move beyond this Hollywood bullshit indoctrination to what it's going to be really like and what it is that we can do to really help. I mean, you don't have to. You're not required to help anybody else. I'm certainly not requiring it of you. You do you, boo. I'm trying to help people. And it sure in the hell isn't helping people. Everybody going around talking about how the most important thing is how much harm you can cause. Doesn't even make any damn sense on the surface. But I'm the one that doesn't get it. Like I say, when you look at a situation, you have to pull back. You have to pull way fucking back. Because if you don't, you're going to have things like tradition and indoctrination and all of that that's going to be affecting your decision making. Even the good book tells you the dangers of allowing emotion to make your decisions. There's a reason it's in the good book, the user manual for people. There's a reason it's in there. Just because I get it, I'm the bad guy. Okay. Whatever. My God's a hell of a lot bigger than man's ego. I know that. I think I'll go with my God. Anyway, folks, it's just frustrating. It's frustrating. You know, I look at this, and this is one reason I have a respect for the economic ninja. And this is why I like his view on things. I really like his view on it. And here's why. Because the last time that we went through this like the housing cycle, back to 2008 nonsense, he has been getting ready ever since then for this time around. And I have a lot of respect for that. So what he did is he did everything he could to learn as much as he could on how he could turn around and just nail it the next time it happened. And as far as I can tell, he's sitting there ready to nail it, waiting to nail it. But it took a lot of work on his behalf to figure it out, to know where it was that he actually needed to be, where it was that he actually needed to go. It took a lot of planning. I'm sure it took a lot of lumps along the way as well. But he had the foresight and the understanding that it was a cycle and it was something that happened once before. And he didn't have to have a crystal ball. No, no, no. All he had to do was go back and look at what happened before. And look at what happened before that, and the cycle before that, and the cycle before that. So when I'm coming to you with this information about preparedness and this information about what we need to be doing if, God forbid, some major event like the loss of the power grid would happen, I'm going and I'm actually getting the information from people that's actually been there. Because they're the ones that know. Hey, I don't go to try to learn golf from a baseball player. I'm not going to learn basketball from a hockey player. Well, I'm not going to learn apocalyptic survival by a bunch of people that watched a bunch of fucking movies and have an opinion either. And if that's your cup of tea, that's fine. But I'm not going to make that mistake. There are such simple things that if somebody with a loud enough voice, if they would say it, they could save God. They could save millions of people. You want to talk about bullshit in this world? Not being able to get out information like that is at the height of it. Knowledge of one thing, well, beyond knowledge, the work behind building them and having them ready and all that, would easily save millions of lives. What's that, you might ask? Wood gasifier. Wood gasifier. Yep. If wood gasification was common knowledge, if folks knew how to build a wood gasifier that would run a combustion engine, can you imagine? And therefore, you're literally running your combustion engine off of wood? Yeah. If you haven't heard of it, it probably sounds pretty crazy, but it actually was being done in World War II. I think they actually had like kits you could buy and put on your vehicle because of all the fuel rationing and stuff like that was going on. They went to this so that they could still use their equipment, and they had them on tractors, they had them on cars, and the wood gasifiers are literally burning wood and harvesting the hydrogen from burning the wood at a high heat, and then using that hydrogen to power the combustion engine. And again, they were doing it in World War II. This isn't some type of scam scheme or anything like that. This is just something that they did. But people don't, en masse, don't know about that. And if you were to tell people that you can run a combustion engine off of wood, burning wood, they'd probably look at you funny. But that could save millions of lives easily, because that way we could keep these iron monsters, if you will, whatever you want to call them, the tractors and all, we could keep them going, right? On this show, I've often talked about a loaf of bread, and I've often talked about how much goes into a single loaf of bread from start to finish. I'm talking from tilling the earth up, planting the seed, harvesting, and then making bread with it. Okay, so how much area of wheat would you have to harvest to make enough flour to make one loaf of bread? I have no idea. And I because I'm not a farmer. I've never, I haven't even done a whole lot with gardening. So I wouldn't know the beginning to tell you. But I'll tell you what, I bet it's a fair amount of dead. I bet it's probably, I'm going to guess that you would have to have more wheat planted than the average person has in size of garden, okay, for that loaf of bread. Now, I might be completely wrong there. I could be totally off. I don't know. But I do know that the average, Joe and Jane's gardens aren't going to be enough if you had wheat planted in them to grow a whole or to make a whole bunch of bread. I know that. And I also know that bread was a staple in people's meals. Bread is what they used as a filler because they didn't have all the meats, they didn't have all the other stuff. So bread, you ate bread with every meal. It was a staple. But what happens when you don't even or can't even get the flour to make that bread? It's no longer a staple now, is it? What are you going to replace it with? It's kind of a problem, ain't it? So let's translate that down the road when power grid's down, fuel's no longer delivered, you're not running your tractors, and we still got to plant and harvest and grind a bunch of wheat to have flour to make bread as a staple so we can survive. See, it's easy to talk bullshit about your AR-15. It's easy to tell me what level vest you have. That's easy shit. That's easy shit. I don't want to talk about that. I want to sit on the big boy porch. I want to talk about how we really fix problems. And that ain't by what we're doing to our AR-15. That ain't how we solve the true problems. Hexapus says about 6.7 acres of wheat, 11,600 pound flour, 1,700 pound. 1,700 pounds of flour per acre. 1,700 pounds of flour per acre will support bakery for a year. Okay, so are you saying that 6.7 acres of wheat, is that the fine land, like the 6.7 acres of wheat will take care of their bakery for a year? Wow. That's actually more, you can actually get more flour out of it than what I thought. That's a good thing. But, again, remember, you're doing it by hand. All of it. All of it. Right on. I figured that's probably what you did. Thank you, Hexafoods. Actually, thank you very much for that, because I had no clue, and I actually did want to know. And you know what? There's a lot more important things. So I never Googled it. I had never Googled it, and I actually appreciate that, because I probably never would have, but it was one of those things I'd always kind of wondered, well, how many? Because it's something I talk about all the time. And, I know, nevertheless, there's not enough. How are you going to do that by hand? Okay, so even if you had the people, even if you had the many hands to do the work, which, by the way, have to be eating the entire time until you get that harvested and made into a food product that they could eat. They have to eat all the way up until that time. So that's part of something that's got to be remembered. And the other thing is when it does come time to plant and harvest and all of that stuff, if you're doing it by hand, in order to get any type of yield, you're going to have a lot of people working those fields. And again, those people are going to have to eat and then turn around. They're doing all this work. I bet they're going to want some of that wheat. I'll bet it. Okay? So how are you going to keep up? How are you going to do it? See, these are the questions that I want to answer, Mr. Taylor. Not how we can kill people more effectively. I want to know how we can save people more effectively. This is the big boy table I want to sit at. The answer is wood gasification. Because tractors and equipment could be outfitted in pretty short order. And literally millions of lives could be saved, because it wouldn't be hands out there planting and harvesting that wheat. We could use the tractors. Average acre of wheat produces 37.1, and by the way, thank you, Rick D. 37.1 bushels, or roughly 1,558 loaves of bread. Wow. Now, see, and that's an easy stat for me to wrap my head around there. And I'm actually shocked. That is impressive that an average acre of wheat could make over 1,500 loaves of bread. I would have never thunked it. That is impressive. However, if every family ate one loaf of bread a day, how many families would that acre support? See, that's the problem that I'm referring to. So if you divided that by 365, and I'm not a mathematician, but we're going to say between 4 and 5 families could have a loaf of bread each day off that acre. Now, could the 4 or 5 families work together to be able to plant and harvest and grind that acre? I would say probably so. I mean, come on. You could probably do it, but you'd be working your ass off to do it. You'd be working your ass off. And guess what? Congratulations. You made the flour for your bread every day. That's it. That's it. It's a lot of work and a lot of time that goes into little yield. The problem is we're not in any way ready for something like this to happen. That's where the biggest problem lies. And there are no plans in place. There are, I know that Bear has been talking lately about this. I actually caught a little bit of Angry Pepper and him talking about basically like how the government, and this isn't new news or nothing, the government, all of them, failed the people. Like pretty much completely failed the people down there in Mississippi where the tornadoes hit. And, I guarantee you that everybody that's going to get a little bit from any money, if that's declared a disaster, I bet that they're right there waiting. But they ain't out there helping. They ain't the ones out there doing this stuff. And that's one thing I do got mad respect for Bear for. Right on. Hey, if you do good, it is what it is. I'm going to call it good. If you do bad, doesn't matter who you are, doesn't matter if it's bad, I'm going to call it bad. I can't be this fake person that the world wants so much. I can't. I can't. But back to my point, that wood gasification is the one thing that could save so many damn lives. Right? But all these badasses out there that are just going to take the bull by the horns, why aren't they discussing this stuff? Is it not within their scope? Is it not on their radar? Have they not been hit by the same spot in the learning curve enough to learn? Or have they not even been there once? Now, I know I haven't been there once, but I knew that the most important thing is learning what questions to ask. Well, sometimes you have no idea. If you've not experienced something, you may not know the right questions to ask. So what you want to do is you want to seek somebody that has experienced it, somebody that can tell you what it's like. Preparedness is the same way. Preparedness is the exact same way. You want to go by what others have actually went through, not what Hollywood is teaching people in this country. There's a night and day difference in between the two. The good book, I'll bring it back up again. Good book, it says live by the sword, die by the sword for a reason. For a reason. And it's not saying that you should always turn the other cheek and all that nonsense. It's not saying that. Not at all. But it's basically saying don't go looking for the fight, because that's what's going to end you. And that's a fact. That's a fact. Now I'm not advising people that after some major event that the first thing that they do is go running out their front door and seeing what kind of friends they can meet. I'm not saying that. But let's not go at it with the mindset that every single person that's outside of our property is a threat. Could they be? Abso-frickin-lutely. Do you want them to be? Because I guarantee that stupid people doing stupid things lead to stupid results. You might take a pot shot at somebody that was just coming to check on you. A scout that was going out, seeing if anybody needed help, and you done took a pot shot at that dude, and now his crew which is much bigger than yours and much more prepared than yours, which is why they're going out and trying to help people and not just trying to hide and hoard. Now you've got them to deal with. Good luck. I wish you the best. You know, there's a lot of these groups out there, folks, okay? More than what you think. They're not on social media talking Billy Badass. It's not what they do. There's a lot of good people out there that want to do a lot of good help and want to do a lot of good work. They're not on social media playing Billy Badass. Anyway, and this is, you know, it's this country, I'm telling you. I've got a lot of headlines. I'm gonna try to run through them, jump through them the best I can. I've got quite a few stories up here. Three of them I don't even want to be up there, but I guess I need to talk about it. It would actually probably be irresponsible if I didn't talk about it, regardless of how much I don't want to talk about it. Remember, it's not about my feelings. It's about bringing you information that you can actually use. You guys might want to see. U.S. Mole's new no-fly list. Nice. Nice. See, while everybody's playing badass on social media, they're doing a number to us. It's mind-blowing. Again, you got to pull yourself all the way back and take a look at it just for what it is. And it's like, what? And you get it. You understand why we are the laughingstock of the planet right now. If you pull yourself back far enough, you'll see it. Anyway, lawmakers, and this is different than the other no-fly list, and some of this makes sense to a point, but you would think that it'd already be kind of like a given. I never trust when they want to make all this, you know, these new things, because it's never just for what they say it's for. So let's go over what they say it's for. Lawmakers in the U.S. House and Senate have proposed a new federal no-fly list for abusive or unruly passengers, introducing a bill that would prohibit those convicted of certain criminal offenses from boarding commercial flights. The Protection from Abusive Passengers Act was put forward with bipartisan support on Wednesday, with Representatives Eric Swalwell, Brian Fitzpatrick, introducing the bill in the House, while Senator Jack Reed did the same in the upper chamber. Air rage incidents can pose real safety threats to everyone on board, Reed said in a social media post, voicing hopes that the act would improve air travel safety and hold unruly passengers accountable. If passed, the legislation would create a new federal blacklist for air passengers managed by the Transportation Security Administration, an agency of the Department of Homeland Security, which is deployed at airports across the country. The bill would impose bans on any individual who engages in behavior that results in a civil penalty or a conviction for assaulting, threatening, or intimidating a crew member or passenger on an aircraft flight, or who takes any other action which interferes with security personnel. Hey, I ain't got no problem with that, right? But isn't that what the other list was supposed to be for, essentially? People that were threats? Right. So why do we need a second list? Well, let's read on. While the same group of lawmakers proposed similar legislation last year, it failed to pass. In reintroducing the bill, because that's how they do it, They said banning people from flights would serve as a strong deterrent against violent or disruptive passengers. Kind of like how the gun-free zones are deterring the people from committing acts of violence in gun-free zones. Same thing, right? The new list would be separate from another terrorism blacklist created in the wake of the 9/11 attacks and overseen by the FBI and DHS. That list has come under fire in the past after it was found to include young children, among them one 4-year-old boy. I don't know. Talk to his parents, and I bet he throws a pretty mean tantrum. The proposed TSA-managed no-fly list has already faced criticism from civil rights organizations, including the African Civil Liberties Union, citing issues with the existing list. Okay, so that's why we can't put the threatening individuals on the threatening individual list? Is what? Okay, maybe I need to read more. If Congress wants to further reduce air rage incidents on aircraft, it should look at forcing the airlines to make flying a less miserable experience, ACLU spokesman Jay Stanley told the Associated Press. Really? A less miserable experience. Now, I don't travel the airlines, so I couldn't really tell you anything about what it's like to travel on the airlines. One more sentence. Let's just rip it off like a Band-Aid. Incidents involving unruly passengers saw a major spike in 2021 as air travel increased after pandemic restrictions were eased at many airports. The Federal Aviation Administration said it received 6,000 reports of investigations and $5 million in fines, while the number of incidents fell in 2022, dropping to just over 2,400. The penalties have ramped up significantly, with $8.4 million in fines last year, despite fewer reports and investigations. So that just basically tells me they're trying to profit more from it. That's all that's saying. However, I think that before we get all excited about numbers, I would like to know how many of these 6,000 reports of problematic passengers were related to COVID stuff, like masks and whatnot. I think if you want an accurate assessment, you have to pull all of those cases out, which is probably going to be the majority of them. I mean, come on, it's common sense. That's what caused a lot of the rifts. That's what caused a lot of the issues. Is that what they're wanting this other list for? So something like that, is that what they're, if you get on and you didn't have your mask on right or something like that, is that cause to go on this other list? Why do they need another list? They're trying to tell you that they need a new list because the old list is tarnished. What do you think's going to happen with the new list? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I need more electrolytes. Maybe that would help. Maybe to understand it, I must need more electrolytes. Brondo. So, I'm going to try to move through these. The last three is going to be about Orange Man. Let's see. And it is what it is. I don't call him that because I'm like liberal or whatever. Some derangement syndrome nonsense. But he's not an idol. Let's see. Brazil and China signed pact to abandon dollar. This is something that probably might want to pay attention to. Oh, we're already almost 50 minutes into the show, so I'm not going to read all the details. But I also wanted to note that Saudi Arabia is making a move towards the Russia-China bloc, and this is in many ways, in financial ways, and as far as I know, even in like military equipment and stuff like that, there's been talks. I think Saudi Arabia has talked to them about, I don't know for certain if it was the S-400 or S-500 system, but I know they've talked about one of the two. I think that they've talked about some other things too in the past. So, again, this is strengthening ties between Saudi Arabia and Russia and China. And where was it, by the way, that the terrorists came from, the hijackers? Where was it that the hijackers came from that were on that plane for 9/11? What country was that? Was it Iraq? No, wasn't Iraq. Afghanistan? No, wasn't Afghanistan. Oh, that's right. Every last one of them was from Saudi Arabia. Wow. Imagine that. They tell you, our government tells you about how we shouldn't be, supporting countries that don't like us very much. Isn't that something that Trump ran on? Right? But he still kissed the ass of the Saudis, didn't he? Sorry to speak truth about Orange Man, but he's not who people thought he was. Sorry. Maybe they make, I don't know. Maybe they'll make this like for these guys. Maybe they'll make some kind of big stuff bear or something that they can hold. I don't know. Because the truth is bad sometimes. I know, and it's hurtful. Kiev demands cut of Western war profits, says Politico. Really? So it's okay. So it's not enough that we're giving them money. It's not enough that we're giving them weapons. Right? So now we need to give them a cut. A cut, right? They need more money. More money. Well, good with that, big ol' Z. We'll see if that manifests, but they'll let you have all the taxpayers' money. That should be very freaking clear at this point. They'll let you have all the taxpayers' money, but if you think that the military-industrial complex is going to cut you in, make sure you YouTube it. That's going to be funny. Anyway, just Big Z, make sure you're there and you YouTube it, right? China ready to boost military cooperation with Russia. So now they're actually saying it. And that's the reason why I put the headline up, because they're saying it. Yeah, that's actually in my the last 3 tabs I've got open about that. Yep. So, and I actually haven't read. I probably read a little bit of those articles because I'd like to know what the hell's going on too, because there's a bunch of bullshit going on that isn't right, and I don't buy any of it for face value, but I take a close look at all of it because it all plays a part. Even the propaganda plays a part. So, yeah, it's crazy. I actually, I'll be honest. When that headline came in, when that breaking news came in, it actually got me. I was like, holy shit. I mean, after all the drama mama of last week or whatever, and nothing ever happening or whatever, and or was that this week? I don't know. I do lose track of time when it comes to news events because, I mean, come on, how could I not? But let's see. Like I said, China is now outwardly saying that they're going to work with Russia militarily. That's a big deal. That's a really, really big deal. Well, and I am too, Hexafoos. Jen's asked me, a couple different times. She's asked me, well, what's this about? It's how the hell do you explain it, man? So I just go through the spiel. So here's the deal. He paid to have relations with a woman that agreed to have relations for X amount of money or whatever. It was between consenting adults. It was and I assume that she came out and threatened to go public with the information unless he gave her hush money, in which he legally gave her hush money. It was a legal thing that happened. Now, I don't know. I've heard that they're maybe trying to play the card, or maybe going to try to play the card that he used some type of campaign funds or something like that to pay for his rendezvous, I guess. The hush money, I guess. I get the hush money, I guess. They're trying to claim came from the campaign or whatever. That's what I heard. I don't know if that's what's actually going on. I don't dig much into it because I really do think it's a dog and pony show. I think it's a circus sideshow that's meant to distract people, and I don't think it has any real relevance as far as a reality as to where we're headed. I think it's just to keep us all, for one, more divided. I think it's to keep us talking about something other than us getting ready to deal with what they're going to throw at us, because obviously they don't want us to be able to be sustainable. So, if they can keep us distracted and talking about crap that don't matter, while we should all be getting ready, and that's another reason why I take a different approach at prepping, and don't think it should be a secret that you should hide. I think you should be open and honest about it. I think that you should talk to people around you and around you in the world about it. If you happen to live in a town or city or something, that's all you can do. I mean, we got to be realistic about this. And there's a whole lot of people that I think are really approaching it from some wrong angles. I know I'm jumping back into the prior topic, but it's concerning to me. It's concerning to me because there are a lot of people that have really been. Some have been misled. Some just, it's on themselves because they didn't do their due diligence. It is what it is. That's what I'm trying to overcome. That's what I'm trying to push forward. Right? We're much better served to try to help others in prepping in manners that will help others. I don't know. Just common sense. Let's see. U.S. urges Americans to leave Russia immediately. And a lot of this is because of what happened with the Wall Street Journal correspondent. Apparently, he was arrested. He's accused of espionage. And Moscow says that he was caught red-handed. Was he? I don't know. I'm not gonna be that fool that jumps and says, well, he's an American, so he's innocent. Was he? I don't know. And so while they were performing, I guess they were supposed to be gathering data. So it's interesting stuff. That's it's real interesting stuff. There's several documentaries out there involving it. Am I buffering? Buffering? I'm showing excellent. Okay, cool deal. It's back. I was going. You didn't have to delete your message. You didn't offend me or nothing. No, I didn't know. It didn't come up. It didn't warn me that I lost connection or nothing. So maybe they're trying to warn me. Let's see. But yeah, I couldn't tell you whether or not this dude was over there spying. And just because I'm an American, I'm not going to sit here and say that, oh, well, he wasn't spying because, he was an American. And I don't know if it if it got out. But I just learned not that long ago that I thought this was kind of cool, that during the Cold War, our astronauts were actually trained for espionage because, they were some of the very few working with the Russians and stuff at the time was like the space agency scientists and stuff like that. And so, yeah, it would make sense why they would be trained for espionage and stuff like that. And I was talking about how entertainers were also. There were several entertainers that were trained for espionage because they're the ones that could get into the other countries. And nothing would look suspicious, right? So, but I guarantee you they were Russia and any other country doing the same thing. So it's just, it's kind of cool. I was talking a little bit about that there's some documentaries about spycraft, if you will, that pretty good. It's kind of neat to see some of the different stuff. Some of the technology and stuff that they use, especially 50s, 60s, pretty ingenious. The stuff that they come up with and the stuff that they learned. Stuff today is totally different, which it doesn't really go, the documentaries, of course, don't go into the modern day stuff, but neat to know the history of that stuff. Let's see. All right, now we get to talk about Orange Man. So, grand jury indicts Donald Trump. This here says former President Donald Trump has been indicted by a Manhattan grand jury on Thursday for his alleged role in paying hush money to adult film actress Stormy Daniels, according to his lawyer and court sources cited by U.S. media. While specific charges were not immediately made public, Trump's lawyer Joe Tacopina, how do you say that guy? Tacopina, man, right? Is that like Spanish for taco? What's pina colada? Is that another Spanish thing? Did this guy just make his name up? He liked tacos and pina coladas, and he's like, I'm Joe Tacopina. That's probably how that worked. So anyway, while specific charges were not immediately made public, his lawyer, Mr. Tacopina, confirmed to the AP that the grand jury voted to indict Trump on Thursday. CNN and other U.S. media also confirmed the indictment, citing multiple sources familiar with the matter. We will vigorously fight this political prosecution in court, Tacopina said, insisting that his client did not commit any crime. He's innocent. He didn't do nothing. Don't worry, he'll pay $350, he'll be walking. We will vigorously fight this political prosecution in court. Did I say this? Yeah, I already said that. A spokesman for the Manhattan District Attorney's Office confirmed the indictment, which is expected to be officially announced in the coming days, because we really need to add that to the circus parade. Trump will be requested to surrender and appear in court to face arraignment on the still sealed charges, multiple U.S. media reported, citing other sources. Case centers on an alleged... Well, this goes into what happened. So, Orange Man respond. Former U.S. President Donald Trump has accused his political opponents to weaponizing the American justice system in order to get rid of by far the leading Republican candidate. Is he? Really? I don't know that he is. I wouldn't buy that. I wouldn't buy that. If Trump and DeSantis went up for a vote tomorrow, I think DeSantis would walk all over him. I don't think that would even be close. Anyway. Did I just see lightning? Okay, I thought I did. Should I be scared? Should I cry? I'm waiting. Excuse me, I need to have an emotional reaction here. Should I not worry? Should I cry? Should I scream? Gosh, nobody had tell me how I need to react. Oh, okay. There. It was just delayed. I'm good. It's good. I'm fine. Like, don't smoke a bong before the show again, man. Just don't. Just put it down. Anyway, let's go to a quote, shall we? I believe this witch hunt will backfire massively on Joe Biden. The American people realize exactly what the radical left Democrats are doing here, Trump said in a post on Truth Social on Thursday, urging his supporters to stay united and strong in order to throw every last one of these crooked Democrats out of office. You mean like lock her up? Lock her up? You mean like lock her up? And then even before you got elected, and even before, I mean, it was like freaking within the same week of the election, you were coming out and you were saying that, no, maybe not. No, we'll leave her alone. We'll leave her alone. One of the biggest things that he campaigned on was locking her up. And within days of the people putting him in that office, he went back. Now, that was the reason why I said I voted one time in my life. The difference between me and many Trump supporters, when I voted, well, it wasn't for Trump. When I voted, it was way back when Obama ran his first term. And I voted for Obama. I'll admit the mistake. But the difference between me and many of the Trump supporters is it wasn't even a month. It wasn't even 30 days that passed. And I was screaming bloody murder because of all the backwalking that Trump did in the first month. Not Trump, sorry, Obama. In the first month that he was in office, I was sickened. And what he said that Obamacare was going to be compared to what the American people were presented with, not the same thing. See, Obamacare, not really Obamacare. Obama's plan was much different. No, you got John Kerry care is what you got. I think it was John Kerry. Pretty sure it was John Kerry. You got John Kerry care is what you got. A lot of people don't realize that. You know, it's like NAFTA. A lot of people blame Bush Sr. for NAFTA. And while I don't like Bush Sr., Bush Sr. was only the one that was in office when that went into effect. That wasn't his baby. That was Reagan's baby. NAFTA was Reagan's baby. A lot of people don't realize that. The Obama phone. That wasn't Obama's baby. That was Bush Jr.'s baby. Bush Jr. was the one that set all that up. Obama was just the one in office when it went into effect. I mean, see, that's the kind of truth people don't like to hear. And that's the reason why I don't come here to make friends. Sorry, Darren. I'm going to tell the truth. I don't give a shit if you like it or not. Anyway, that just goes into what they did. So, and then, like what you were saying last, let's see, Florida will not extradite Trump, says DeSantis. And this here, it said Donald Trump's potential top rival for the Republican Party's 2024 presidential nomination, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, has ripped the New York City prosecutor behind the criminal indictment of the former president. Florida will not assist in an extradition request given the questionable circumstances at issue with the Soros-backed Manhattan prosecutor and his political agenda, DeSantis said in a tweet on Thursday. So far, there has been no reports of any potential extradition request, as a spokesman for the Manhattan District Attorney's Office told AP that prosecutors has reached out to Trump's legal team to arrange a surrender and a court appearance expected sometime next week. DeSantis previously said he wouldn't get involved in the case in any way, indicating that he wouldn't try to help block the Florida resident's extradition to New York. but has now echoed Trump's belief that Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg is stretching the law to get to target a political opponent. The weaponization of the legal system to advance a political agenda turns the rule of law on its head. It is un-American, DeSantis added. So, and I want to step in there real quick and say, yeah, I agree. I couldn't disagree anymore. So why are we only focused on that being the case for certain people? How come that only applies to certain people? People like me? No, it's not considered turning the law on its head. I just wonder how come the laws are different depending on how famous you are, how rich you are. I don't know. I kind of had the impression that the founding fathers wanted us all to kind of be on an even keel. Maybe not so much, but that's kind of the indication that I got from reading the preamble. I don't know. Maybe I could be wrong. Anyway, that's a sad situation in itself. You know, here's the thing, right? So, you got DeSantis and you've got Trump. Now, if I were to vote, hands down, it would be DeSantis. Hands down. And for a multitude of reasons. I mean, it's... But what I am seeing from the outside looking in is Ron DeSantis that just wants to have an honest campaign, just wants... I do think maybe I've gotten shystered, but Ron DeSantis seems to have good intentions. It's just a shame that he has already had to fight nonsense that's come from the Trump team. And yet, sitting here, and I'm sure he knows this. I'm sure he knows that him doing the right thing is going to help his campaign. I think that he'd do much better off by playing by the rules and doing the right thing regardless of what's done towards him. I think that would be the smarter move than trying to attack Trump back. I know if it comes down to it, Trump, DeSantis, and Red Team picks Trump. I don't know what to tell you guys. You deserve every damn thing you get. I can't promise you DeSantis will be better. I can't, because I don't personally know him. Anyway, let's do some headlines. Let's get the hell out of here for the week. My dog is, I guess, snoring. It's not like a regular snore, though. I got some kind of strange monster over there in the corner. But aside from that, my top secret device is outside there in the rain, which is fine. It's not going to kill it. It's actually made to be out in rain, but it kind of hurts my feelings a little bit. I must say it does hurt my feelings a little bit. Anyway, I'm gonna read these headlines, finish up the show, and I'll deal with that. So, all right. U.S. spy found dead in Pentagon parking lot. That might be a problem. I don't know. Apparently so. Dead spy in the Pentagon parking lot. I would say you don't see that every day, but do they even look every day? Anyway, covered that. Latest leader to cut Taiwan ties heads to China. Rosneft announces major oil deal in India. Major exporter to stop shipping Russian grain, says media. Fatalities expected after U.S. military helicopters collide. And I haven't looked back into that. I know I read it this morning when I saw it. But they didn't really have any information other than, obviously it didn't look good as far as outcome. A Wall Street Journal reporter arrested. I actually talked about that. Did I talk about that? No, I don't know if I did. Wall Street Journal reporter arrested on suspicion of espionage. I think I kind of talked about it. Erdogan accuses West of trying to drag Turkey into conflict with Russia. China completes first LNG trade in one. Kiev demands cut of Western war profits, says Politico. A senior Orthodox bishop invokes woe on Zelensky. EU country considering Olympic boycott. Let's see, covered that. Swiss bank helping rich Americans dodge taxes, says Senate. UK reveals migrant plans. Kremlin comments on Wall Street Journal correspondent arrest. Brazil and China signed pact to abandon dollar. I think that actually might have been up. White House reveals budget for foreign influence operations. Yeah. Foreign influence operations. No, we don't meddle. Musk surpasses Obama in follower count. Ukrainian FM downplays importance of counteroffensive. Russia makes goodwill missile pledge to the U.S. A Russian central bank reveals how it braced for Western dollar grab. Hungarian firms forced to leave Russia, says envoy. Russian MP makes promise to conscripts. Russian Muslims issued trading ban. Hang on, let me take a peek out the window. Don't watch what you put. Okay. Let's see. Where was I at? I know I covered that one. Extremely critical situation in NATO members' military, says General. I don't know if I covered that one. French energy giant sued for war crimes complicity, says AFP. Saudi Arabia makes move towards Russia-China bloc. UK to use AI to detect foreign threats. Ukrainian and that's what I did a report on earlier. Ukrainian FM gives estimate on EU accession. Facebook disappears RT Arabic. U.S. based hosting president's plane in lockdown over active shooter. I don't know how that turned out, but it kind of sounded like they really didn't. It sounded like they really didn't think that there really was somebody, I guess. I don't know. U.S. Navy employs new suicide prevention strategy, says AP. U.S. urges Americans... Oh, well, actually, I had that one up. EU issues warning to China over Ukraine. Grand jury indicts Donald Trump. Oh, I covered that. And actually, covered all those. Those were the last three, the ones about Trump. So, anyway, I am gonna get off of here and go deal with stuffs. And, well, I will see you folks on Sunday if I don't see you before. And I hope you have a good weekend. God willing, I'll see you on Sunday. And, well, we'll start another week of this. So anyway, I'll see you soon. As always, God bless you. We love you. Be one with your spirit. And shalom.